For years, the CMT Music Awards have been the weird cousin at the country music family picnic, where the CMAs and ACMs have their industry prestige and historic weight. The CMT Awards are another thing altogether, a fan-voted spectacle of music videos, more often than not an exercise in cringe-worthy moments, incendiary performances, and second-tier talent grasping at relevance. Fast forward to 2025 and the CMT Awards are gone. Whether that was a simple hiatus or the long overdue burial of said awards, one thing is clear. Few have bitterly lamented their passing. To anyone who viewed the award shows as no more than a cheap publicity stunt drenched in corporate virtue signaling, this feels long overdue. What happened? More importantly, does anyone care? The writing has been on the wall for quite some time now. The very parent company, Paramount Global, is having cash trouble and is on the brink of being merged with Skydance Media, run by David Ellison. While in preparation for the same merger, Paramount is cutting all extra costs and streamlining its operations to the best level possible. Unluckily, or per your view, the CMT Awards just didn't cut. According to an internal memo, events that will stay behind include MTV Video Music Awards and Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. But it's cutting the CMT Awards along with other non-essential events. Why? The CMT Awards simply did not bear enough cultural weight in the first place, never seeming to rise to the level of relevance as events from MTV and Nickelodeon. The CMT Awards basically did not matter enough to survive. Long an incubator for a spate of awkward, headline-chasing stunts that all too often eclipse the music, the CMT Awards would go full cringe instead of celebrating country stars with any actual credibility, where pathetic grasps at controversy reigned supreme. Whether it was the incoherent rant from Zac Brown, the forced political pontification from Kelsey Ballerini, or the emotional theatrics of Jelly Roll, the CMT Awards became less about country music and more about viral moments, whether or not those moments resonated with the audience. It became, other than the opportunity to display the best of the genre's talents, a show of misfires, miscalculations, and misplaced priorities, bringing up in many the question of whether the show had any true purpose whatsoever. It used to be that the CMT Awards were part and parcel of the CMA Fest in Nashville each June. Then it pulled the eyebrows up with a move over to Austin, Texas. In recent years, a switch that only put it further outside the circle of country music altogether. Another problem was that the actual awards themselves just never carried much weight. Although the CMAs and ACMs are respectively voted on by their industry members, CMTs are 100% fan voted. Whoever was able to marshal the most social media chatter took home the buckle. It is a recipe for an incredible show because many years' winners haven't been indicative of who made the best music, but who had the biggest online followings. Adding to the identity crisis, CMT seemed utterly oblivious to the actual country music fans. Instead of organic evolution, the feeling of corporate-initiated diversity on the network rang very hollow and forced. Country music has never been more diverse, but too often the approach is performative and preachy, alienating a large swath of its core fan base in the process. It played its cards so over the top, woke, and edgy that it just exploded in its face. Instead of this celebration of authenticity in country music, it turned into a completely tone-deaf chase for relevance. You know what I mean, guys, right? Of all the ways the CMT Awards got off on the wrong foot, the biggest indication came in 2024 with Beyoncé and her country-infused album called Cowboy Carter. Then came the award shows, scrambling desperately to cash in on her presence. The People's Choice Country Awards, equally irrelevant, extended Beyoncé an incredible 17 nominations for a barely country album. CMT reportedly tried to create a whole new award to entice Beyoncé, onto their show, she politely declined. These desperate moves all served to make clear what was already assumed. The CMT Awards were about everything except country music, but about those clickbait moments, just trying to stay in the headlines.
How do you go from TikTok to all these big dreams to this moment?
You know, fans.
Now that the CMT Awards are gone, an even bigger question comes. How much longer do music award shows in general last? With numbers streamed, views on YouTube, and going viral on TikTok, topping gold statuettes in industry value today, the award shows mean less and less to any genre. The Grammys themselves once were a gold standard in the world of awards. Shows saw declines in ratings amid controversies of credibility and fairness judgment from their viewership. But for country music, the death of the CMT Awards is probably a good thing. Instead of diluting attention across too many superfluous award shows, the genre can focus on shoring up the credibility of the CMAs and ACMs, or maybe even mount a new award show more reflective of the tastes and values of the modern country fan. After all, the CMT Awards were never integral to country music in the first place. They were a gimmicky, fan-voted popularity contest that lost their point. Over time, their axing is a comeuppance of sorts for country music, alienating one's core constituency, chasing trends instead of authenticity, and playing for socials rather than sound will see the genre's irrelevance. And honestly, does anybody need the CMT Awards? Probably not. Maybe now country music can move forward and leave that shallow spectacle behind, embracing once again the raw, honest storytelling that made country music great to begin with. So, ding dong, the CMT Awards are dead, and country music is better for it.